Well, thanks for joining us on Bloomberg Quint. I have with me Ranganathan, the outgoing CFO at Infosys. Ranga, thank you for joining us on Bloomberg Quint.
Nice meeting you.
And you have spent almost 2 decades and 18 years at Infosys. Must be a difficult time for you leaving. I want to understand, what was that moment that you decided, step down and start something new?
Well, I think, Infosys has been live. As you said, last 2 decades has been in Infosys. I've played a variety of roles, right from strategy, risk, M&A, consulting, which culminated as a chief financial officer. In these, in these 18 years, I've been an integral part of the growth and the scaling. When I joined, it was less than 200 million. Now it is 11.5 billion, and less than 8,000 people. Now 200,000 people, 45 countries. I've been an integral part of the scaling that happened, and especially in the last 3 years as a chief financial officer, we had multiple transitions. We had to manage that transition process, 3 transitions. At the same time, we kept a resolute focus on financial performance. Between fiscal 15 and 18, while the revenues increased by 26% in dollar terms, the cash flow expanded by 40%. And we implemented very unique and one of the largest share buyback programs. We had a US APA. And there were several milestones in my career as CFO, as well as nearly 20 years in the company. And I had the rare privilege of working with all the founders and all the CEOs of the company. I think in this, what has given me really is a perspective of scale, perspective of growing a company from small scale into a large global company. At the same time, the last 3 years as a CFO has given me a lot of perspectives and experience on managing transition, managing, very critical period for the company. At the same time, gave a very resolute focus on financial performance. I thought this is the right time for me to put to use all this collective experience I've had in the company. And I'm looking at certain logical extension where I could apply the scaling part as well as the global financial management part. That's what I'm looking forward. I think it's a logical point for me, having spent 20 years, and I would like to see my wife more often. So that's another objective. So principally that.
Right, and what kind of roles are you really looking for? I mean, it's too early to ask you. Are you trying to partner with large companies and or the startup culture that you're trying to put your hands into?
Well, many people are asking, are you starting a company? Certainly, I'm not starting a company. I think, as I said, I'm looking at certain opportunities which will put logically to use my skills in managing a large listed company and the process of growing a large listed company, and at the same time managing multi-billion balance sheet, at the same time delivering a very strong and resilient financial performance. If you look at the last 3 years, our return on equity touched 25%, a record cash flow of $2 billion, and we also had one of the largest capital allocation. I think these experience I want to put to use in a meaningful way. That's what I'm looking for.
And you have seen all the tides of Infosys. Do you think Infosys got its mojo back?
Well, I think I don't want to call mojo went away and came back, because if you look at last 18 years, we have seen multiple business cycles. We used to grow at 100% when I joined, 100% year on year. Then became 30%, then became under 10%. In the last 3 years, we have gone, and this year, again, we have had a good performance. If you look at fiscal 16, we grew more than the industry, right, at 13%. I think it's a business cycle, and at the same time, when the sectoral things are positive, I think we also have to execute well and move forward.
And what are the key challenges which awaits for Infosys? You have been facing attrition issue as well, and how much headroom do you have to, Infosys has to, counter growth issues or currency fluctuation?
I think currency is something we have to navigate and we have to manage. I'm very proud of the fact that in each of the 12 quarters of the last 3 years, we have had a very volatile currency environment. We had Brexit, we had US elections, and so many things. We were able to navigate that effortlessly, of course, through appropriate hedging strategies. I don't think, hedging per se is rather the currency volatility per se is a challenge. I think company has sufficient expertise in navigating that. And coming to attrition, of course, if it's not just us, several of our peers have had attrition. And attrition, of course, is one of the prime areas. As I said, that's one of the reasons why we invested this quarter to address some part of the attrition, especially in certain pockets. At the same time, compensations and the variable pay. And in a high demand environment, we do see attrition kind of spiking at certain intervals.
Right. Ranga, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
and
you.
all the best.
Thank you very much.